going on, everyone? I'm Russ with Expert Barber Beauty Academy. Today we're preparing for the Texas Cosmetology State Practical Exam. This next section is the Monomer and Polymer over tip service. Please apply nail tip and monomer and polymer overlay on one nail. You have 32 minutes to complete this section. You'll be informed when you have 16 minutes remaining. You may begin. Okay, so as soon as they say you may begin, go ahead and sanitize your hands. We already EPA'd. We don't have to re-EPA. So the next thing we're going to do is open up this bag, find our nail tip, wherever it may be, and close your bag up right away. Okay. And if you have two desks, you'll move over to the smaller desk with your service bag because it will have a chair and you will be seated in the chair. So we'll open this bag up. Just take everything out. That's the easiest way. And we have another little tape. And then we can just, you have to close this. Anytime you open a bag, you have to close the bag. First, we'll go ahead and set up. So let's roll it this way. So 2 towels. Fold that over. That's so your client could lay their wrist on it and have their hand here. Now we're going to open this up and we are going to get out our little client's finger and set it there. And get your trash bag and we're going to tape it to the desk. Once I get the tape. That would be the hardest part. Give it a little tug now so you don't have to worry about it later. So that's staying on there. Okay, first thing we're gonna do now, sanitize my hands, get some more sanitizer, and we're gonna sanitize the client's finger. Okay, now we're gonna re-sanitize because we're going into the kit, and the easiest way to make this faster rather than opening and closing this, we can take a lot of this stuff out now. So we're going to take out a buffer, a file, Q-tip, buffer, nail brush, Q-tip, file, and nail clippers, nail tips, and we need a wooden pusher. There it is, good. And a wooden pusher as well as some nail glue. I have 2 in here because sometimes they dry up. So we'll close that off. Now we're going to shape the nail. I'm turning around for you. You will have to do it this way. But you're going to go from center to out to the center. Just file it and then file the top a little bit. Now this one here we can throw away. If you touch your trash, sanitize. I didn't touch it, but you can sanitize anyways. The buffer, you're gonna hold it between these 2 fingers. Place one finger on here. That way you can apply a little pressure, buff the nail and the free edge. Okay, and we can throw that one away too. Sanitize our hands. Now we're going to take the wooden pusher and push back on these cuticles. And we're going to break this so we don't reuse it. They know we're not reusing it. Sanitize our hands. Now with the wooden swab, we'll clean under that free edge. It's pretty quick. Snap that in half. Lots and lots of hand sanitizing. That's the way you have to do it. All right, next up, we're going to measure the nail tip. So go ahead and open your nail tip container. Just empty them all out. Close it up. And whether the first one is good or not, grab a second one and measure it out. My first one was better, so that's the one I'm going to go with. So then you take the one that you're not or if you have more than two, all of those and place them back into your nail tip container. Close it up. We're going to sanitize our hands, and we're going to start taking everything out of this. So we have our dehydrator, low odor primer, polymer powder, and odorless monomer liquid. And then a little dapping dish. And we can just close this up, save it for later. We can place these back in there. All right, so now sanitize. And after you measure, you're going to apply some dehydrator onto the nail. Just the nail surface, not the whole finger. Close that up. You can really set it far aside because you're done with it. Now we're going to get our nail glue, and we're going to fill up just a little bit in the well of the nail tip. So we have just a drop will do you, and you can get that cap back on there real quick. And then you're going to rock the nail tip onto the nail and then roll it around to get the air bubbles out. Once those bubbles are out, you're just going to hold it and let it dry. And that's fairly dry. So now you're going to get your nail clippers or your nail tip cutter, whichever you have. Does not really matter. And then you're going to cut the nail to the desired length. A little shorter is recommended because the longer it is, the more work you're going to have to do with your monomer and polymer. And get it kind of nice. I'm just going to do a squared off nail. Really simple, really easy. Set this back to the side. Going to sanitize my hands again. And I'm going to get out another file and buffer as well as my nail brush. Close that up. And now we're going to file the nail. You'll be filing it like this here to shape it and clean it up. And then right where the nail tip blends into the natural nail, you're going to file that down just to blend it a little bit so it does not stand out, because your monomer polymer is going to be clear and we want this to look natural for the end result. Okay. Then we'll set that aside. And now we're going to get the low odor primer. And that primer is going to be applied only to the nail tip. Close that up. And now we're going to take our odorless monomer liquid and put a little bit in our dapping dish. You don't have to fill it to the brim. I'm about halfway full. Just keep that nice and close to us. And then our acrylic polymer powder, we're going to open that up. This you can leave open because there's really no other way to do it. And we're going to get this brush soaked up and try to get all the liquid off. And then you're going to re-dip the brush, take the liquid off just one side. You're going to dip your brush in and just roll it across the whole powder and get a nice bead. Once you have that nice bead, you're going to place it right on the back of the nail and try to shape it up so it is not getting on the finger. So that's our first bead. Repeat that step, clean your brush off, dip it back in, just the one side, then we're going to drag it across to get a nice big bead, and we're going to place it right in the center. And kind of pat it down to shape it up. Doesn't have to be perfect at this point. Repeat, so clean the brush, get all the liquid and everything out, dip it back in, just pull it up on one side, drag it the whole way across your powder to get a really big bead, and this bead is going right up front, and we're patting it down, shaping it up a little bit, and patting it a little bit on the free edge. Now we're going to clean that brush off. And now we're just going to kind of pat this and shape it and clean any powder, any monomer and polymer that may have gotten on the finger rather than the nail, because it will run from time to time, like right there ran. Clean that off and just wipe it on some paper towel. And then just shape it by patting it down or gently wiping it across, and push the free edge flat. Now we can clean this brush off. Get it fairly dried, and we can place this back into our sanitized implements. Going to close our acrylic powder. I'm going to rip off one full sheet of paper, and as you see, I had a whole bunch of extra. I used almost nothing when it comes to this liquid, but we're going to stick that paper in there to soak that up. I'm just going to throw this into the trash. And then sanitize your hands. And we're going to start tidying up a little bit because this has to dry. We got lots of time waiting on that to dry. Just start placing your dehydrator, primer, monomer and polymer back into their bag where they came from. Close it up. Everything else that you don't need, and the only thing we're going to need is a file, buffer, and nail brush. So we'll just close that up for now. Keep everything nice, neat, and clean. And this does take a while to dry, so we're going to want to speed up that process. So sanitize your hands, rip off a paper towel, fold it, and we're going to attempt by folding it in opposite directions every time to make a fan. Pinch and pull it apart. It's not that good, but take your fan and give it a little air, because you need to make it dry and you're not allowed to blow on it. You have to do something like this. And this is probably going to take a majority of your time. And once we think that's dry, by the way, I stopped the video. It takes longer than that. So it is dry. Throw that away. Sanitize your hands. If you want, you can give it the, oh, look at that crack test. Throw that away. Get your buffer. We'll be holding it like that. And we're going to buff the nail tip And you're gonna pretend it's a client so that finger will stay fairly stationary, not all over the place. And buff that free edge. Once everything's buffed, we can throw that away, get your nail brush, and just brush away all the loose gunk, make it clean looking. And we don't have to throw this away. We can place it back into the sanitized implements. We'll sanitize our hands. And now we'll just start putting everything back into our service bag, our tape, and our supplies, not the finger. And we can close this up, set it to the side, grab that paper towel, put it in our trash bag, re-sanitize, and now I'm going to have to stand up, EPA my table and my chair, because I used it. And I can throw that into this trash. Take this trash bag, drop it off into my big trash bag, sanitize, take my finger off of there, throw that away, throw this away, re-sanitize our hands, and now we'll have nothing but our finger sitting out for the raider to come and look at. Once you're done, you'll put your hand up. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Have a great day.